It's July 10th and this is my 5th garden update of the season. I harvested my carrots today. These came out of here. So I have a 16-foot bed here, side of the house. I put those onions over there. Those were some that were in the planters. I moved those over just to see how they do because they're not doing very well in the planters. Anyway, so I got these carrots out of here. Picked them. They were planted on April 24th, so they were 77 days. Took about a week for them to sprout, come up. I got about 80% of them sprouted. So I have already picked about 5 pounds the other day. Pulled the rest of them out today. That's going to be 15-20 pounds probably minimum. So it's a pretty good harvest. And they all pretty much look like that. So they're good shaped. Nice length. This is the best crop of carrots I've ever pulled out of the ground, so I'm really happy with how they did. Very few of them were like this or forked off or that. So now one thing I found out was I've got this one here. This, when you pick a carrot, sometimes they'll break off and you won't get the whole root. And so this was from last year. And this one's going to go to seed, and I'll show you what the root looks like here. They're not yet orange. They turn a little white. I can get in there. See that root down there? So it's white. So you're not going to want to eat those. What I'm going to do is leave this in the ground, collect the seeds, and use them for next year. These were, can't remember for sure which one, Imperator or something like that. One of the really larger carrots. So I'll harvest the seeds for that and use them. Now the plan for this bed is to leave those onions down there, and I'll split this bed between a second harvest of carrots. I'll get a late harvest out of those, and I'll put beets in the other half and get some more beets in the ground. I haven't done that yet this year. In the past, I've had to take a bucket of water and rub the dirt off one carrot at a time. So this year I'm going to take this screen that I had sifted my mulch in to fill up my beds, and I'm going to do this. Spray them with a hose, roll them around a little bit, get all the dirt knocked off, and then just let them dry for a few minutes. Then take them on inside and they'll be fine. So what you do is once you're done spraying them off, you get all the dirt knocked off of them and dirt falls down through the screen. There's just a little bit of greenery left over from when I picked them. You want to just get that out, toss it aside, but spread these around, leave them out in the sun for about 10-15 minutes or so, let them dry off, put them in a bag, take them inside. I wanted to show you something. There was I remember seeing a question, can you grow a sucker, cut a sucker off a plant and grow it? And the answer is yes. What I did is I had this really big sucker come off of one of the tomato plants. So I decided to throw it in a jar with some water. It took about 4 days and the roots started to come up. And then I decided to take a little bit of Miracle Grow and throw that in there. So right now, got a good healthy root system. And this is growing. I've already got some tomato buds gonna form. I'm gonna take this, put this in the ground, and make sure it grows some more, and get some more tomatoes out of that. The tomatoes are starting to get above the rack. I went through them yesterday and I found out something pretty interesting that I haven't seen before. I have my tomatoes right here, and it turns out that I got a sucker going on out of this. So this is something I have to watch out for. It hadn't happened before, but I had to cut this off. Otherwise it would have kept growing and sprouted out and given me more than I wanted. I want to just keep these tomatoes with one stalk going all the way up. But turns out that I have to watch down where the tomatoes are now because they're growing out, and a sucker is growing out from the end of this stem where the tomatoes are forming. So Learn something new and have a great harvest of tomatoes. I have 64 plants altogether, 40 here and 26 in my other garden at my business that I put in. And yep, there they are, doing really good. They're really bright. The stalks are really strong and thick. Very healthy plants. The peppers are growing through that netting I put in. That gives them stability side to side so they won't get knocked over by heavy wind or rain. And I've got a lot of flowers. We're going to have a lot of peppers on there too. I've got red cayenne, gold, yellow, orange, large red and green peppers growing in here. That'll be August before I get anything out of that. So the garden's doing well, but just wanted to show you what was going on with the tomatoes and getting those carrots out of the ground. And I will be planting in the next couple days. See how that works for the end of the season. Bye now, thanks for watching. Back in a couple weeks.